There is an insane amount of free rerolls in Anime Vanguards Update 8.5 right now, currently, that you could get in preparation for Anime Vanguards Update 9. So without further ado, let's get this video started because it's going to be a pretty interesting video where we also talk about the Vanguard familiars that recently got added. By the way guys, before we get this video started, our goal is to eventually get to 100k subscribers, a goal that is ultimately impossible without your support. So without further ado, please like and subscribe. Let's get to 100k subscribers and let us get this video started. Alright, so what is this video about? So we're going to talk about how you can get a lot of free rerolls right now in Anime Vanguards. And one of those methods is going to actually be using the Vanguard familiar events into actually getting the rerolls instead of getting the characters, instead of getting the Vanguard familiars themselves. There is right now 2 Vanguard familiar events that gives you rerolls: Warrior of Sound and then Golden King. This one is for Gilgamesh, this one is for Tengen. Then there's 2 at the top as well, but these ones are permanent and they do not give you rerolls, right? So I'm gonna talk about Gilgamesh and Tengen here for a moment. I'm gonna tell you guys right now, you could easily get 40 rerolls per day in the next 3 days if you just use the tokens you're gonna get from this to buy rerolls instead of their Vanguard familiars themselves, because you get 20 per day, 4 here, 6 here, and then 10, so you get 20, and then you can use that to buy 3 rerolls. So one of these events will give you 20. If you combine 2 of them, that's 40 rerolls per day easily. Now, if you combine your 40 rerolls from that with challenges, for example, because again, challenges are here. If you take a look at challenges, you could see you could get like 3 from here and then a bunch more from this challenge right here. You could also get a lot from those other events, from those other things you can farm. But the Vanguard familiars are the easiest source of rerolls right now. They genuinely are the easiest source of rerolls right now in the game. Because right now, for example, Golden King still has about 10 more days. If you spend the 10 days buying rerolls instead of, the Vanguard familiar itself, you could get 200 rerolls with Golden King, which is Gilgamesh. You could get 200 rerolls, which is absolutely crazy. And then if you use the same thing on Warrior of Sound Tengen, I believe they last for about 15 days or 2 weeks. So let's just say 15 days, right? So that's 20 times 15. So you could get about 300 rerolls in that 15 days, because 20 rerolls per day multiplied by 15, that's 300. I don't know if it's 15 days or if it was 14 days, but let's just say 15. You could get 300 rerolls with just a single one of these. You could get another 300 if you combine both of them, obviously. So 300 for both of them is absolutely crazy. It's gonna be somewhere around 500 to 600 rerolls, because I don't know if it's 15 days or if it's 14 days or if it's less than that. But I know Gilgamesh was, I think, about 2 weeks. So let's just say 15 days. You would get like 300 rerolls for Gilgamesh if you had spent all of it on rerolls. And again, it is worth it to buy rerolls, because right now, these characters, especially Gilgamesh, is not even really top of the meta. And at this point right now in the game, if you're a player just casually playing the game and you're not really, playing competitive, or if you don't care about collecting, or if you don't care about maximizing your account, you really do not use any unit that's not in the top tier, that's not in the upper meta. Most people will use only units that are in the upper meta, and right now the only character that's in the upper meta, like the actual top of the upper meta, is Sukuna. That's a Vanguard familiar. So Sukuna is the only one that you should be getting as a Vanguard familiar, and you should be rerolling on Sukuna as well. Literally all these other Vanguard familiars are genuinely, in my opinion, not worth getting, because unless you have Monarch on them, and this is if you have Monarch on Tengen, obviously get the Vanguard familiar for Tengen. But if you don't have Vanguard familiar for Tengen, if you don't have Monarch on Tengen, and you get the Vanguard familiar for Tengen, he's still good, but you would have to get a Monarch on him to maximize him. So the Vanguard familiars, except for Sukuna, are literally all just for people who already have Monarch on these units. So yeah, if you don't have Monarch on Tengen or Gilgamesh, at that point, just buy rerolls on them, because the Tengen is gonna come back as one of these eventually. He's gonna be permanent. Gilgamesh, I believe, won't be permanent because he's limited, but Gilgamesh is not worth it regardless, because he's very mediocre. He's not bad, He's just mediocre. He's a good boss killer, extremely good boss killer, but that's literally all he is. Other than that, he's mediocre. So yeah, that's literally what you're gonna do. That's literally what I've been doing, and I've been able to get a ton of rerolls in preparation for update 9. I did spend like 500 or 400 on Gilgamesh, which was my fault, but yeah, that I'm gonna eat that. Also, you still have Elemental Confluence. You could get a bunch of rerolls from here, which you could get like 200 something. For Nornish Please, which is another one, you could get about 200 rerolls from here as well. You also have where was it? Not strongest. It was Innocent Trials. Or yeah, you could get, I believe, three rerolls here, which is, again, that's something still. Innocent Anger is the one where you could get a lot. You evolve Vegeta, you evolve Rogeta, you evolve Frieza. That's 50, 30, 15. That's about 95 rerolls. You could get 95 rerolls here. That's pretty nice. And if you want to, you could do that. I personally haven't gotten anything from here except for elemental shards. I've gotten like 10 elemental shards here. I think I'll buy 3 rerolls from here, honestly. But yeah, that's a lot of free stuff that you could farm right now in the game. You could also maximize Raiding Rifts. Raiding Rifts is still gonna stay in the game, and it's basically the rifts are spawning every hour. And if you do these, you can actually farm the weekly shop for the rifts as well, allowing you to get the 50 rerolls very easily, right? There's a 50 rerolls here that you could get very, very easily. You could farm that. Obviously, you also got your boss events. If you do your boss events, and it's also going to be pretty nice. Your challenges is pretty nice as well. Your bounties is pretty nice. But what I want to focus on here is just the free rerolls, just from the event, right? Just from the event. Assuming that you get 600 rerolls from both of these, let's just say they both stay in the game for about 15 days. All right, so let's do the numbers right here. Had you bought, okay, this is had you bought them at the start. So this is so you guys know for the next time, because these Vanguard familiars last 15 days. So 15 days for Warrior of Sound, that's 300 rerolls for Warrior of Sound, 300 rerolls for Golden King as well. That's 600 rerolls already for the Warrior of Sound and the Golden King already. If you combine them both, that's 300 rerolls for both these Vanguard familiars. Sorry, 600 rerolls for both these Vanguard familiars. Had you bought rerolls only and not bought the familiar itself, that would be 600 rerolls. If you add the Elemental Confluence, that's 260, so that's already 860 right there. And then if you add Nornish Please, that will be another 200, so that's going to be 1060 already. And then if you add Innocent Anger, which is I believe this is 95, right? So it's 50 plus 30, which is 80, plus 15, that's 95, plus 95. You would have gotten a total of 1,155 rerolls from just all the events alone, right? Just all the events alone. If you add Raiding Rifts, obviously, I mean, I'm just talking about the rerolls you specifically get from the event. Had you bought only rerolls from Warrior of Sound and the Golden King, and had you completed Nornish Please and Elemental Confluence, you would have gotten 1,155 rerolls from just these events alone. And that's a ton of free rerolls. Now, obviously, you won't be able to reach that number anymore because Warrior of Sound is only available for 2 more days now. Well, technically 3 more days now. You can only get about 815 rerolls now. That's still a lot. Like, if you actually farm Elemental Confluence and Nornish Please right now at this very moment, and you would still get 815 rerolls. So that's still a lot of free rerolls that you could get. And I actually do not recommend you get the Vanguard Familiar because it's not worth it. If you want to reroll on a Vanguard Familiar, the only one currently worth it is Sukuna. Tengen is good if you had Monarch on him previously, or if you get Monarch on him in like 100 rerolls. It's definitely not worth going to Pity for Tengen. And right now, the reason I'm saying this is because Anniversary is coming soon, or not soon, but coming eventually. And that's what you should save up for, the Anniversary units, like Dio Over Heaven, for example. And that's why I'm making this video, because you can get a ton of free rerolls just from these events right now that are currently active. That's it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, everybody.